Let's have a little bit of fun. Buck has gotten fired up about this because he can't believe that it's real. Some of you may have seen this. I believe it was Monday night. The Atlanta Braves are playing the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Braves broadcast has a basically sideline reporter who is a young, good-looking guy who is working the sideline, and he is interviewing two different girls, cute blonde girls in the crowd who appear to be Braves fans, I believe. Here is what it sounded like. This is cut 24. The video is out. We'll post it at clayandbuck.com if you have not seen this. This has gone mega viral, but here is what it sounded like if you were watching this baseball game Monday night.
We're having a lot of fun up here up the corner rooftop. Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence, all right.
And I'm Kayla.
Kayla, and you guys hang out at the rooftop lounge often?
Once a year I come out to visit.
Okay, well, we timed it pretty well. All right, good. How are you guys feeling about for the Braves today?
Oh, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
What about you? Are you a Braves fan now?
Not quite.
Not quite. All right, I'm gonna go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way. Okay, Wiley, you got 4 innings to get the numbers. What? Come on.
Get us some more Braves fans.
All right, so they want me to get your number.
They want you to get.
I'm dead serious. They're saying in my ear right now. She doesn't believe me because she thinks you guys are not. I'm making this up.
Okay, so it continues. You can hear the girl in the background saying they want you to get my number. And he ends up getting one of these girls' phone numbers. It goes viral. And Buck, you have seen the reaction, and you've been texting. I sent it to you because I was like, I think you'll enjoy this. Many members of the sports media have lost their mind. They are saying this is misogynistic. They are saying this is completely unprofessional. You've seen the reactions. Can you believe the reactions to that lighthearted clip that we just played for you?
Clay knows he can do this because he tells me, but I don't, as you all know, I don't pay any attention to the sports media commentary world, really. So this is like, it's as though Clay's telling me about the latest Broadway theater critics or something. I just don't follow them, so I don't know. And he goes, oh, no, you don't understand how woke they are. And he sends me this stuff, and it's like throwing steak in the lion den. I completely freak out because all I can think about is the sports media does this? Of all the media to do this, the people that are talking about guys, swinging bats and throwing balls and doing all this stuff and making all this money. And, some of them have cheerleaders on the sidelines or, dancers at halftime. They're free. Even though he tells me, my mind continues to be blown because I don't even know it's possible. Clay, what a killjoy. I mean, who could... If you can't take your shot,
I will read you a couple of
read some of the reactions.
Yes,
so people know.
Some of you don't know. This is a woman named Danny Sarek. She is on the sideline somewhere doing something. So, are we still going to ask women in sports if they're only doing their job to date athletes? We can all agree how inappropriate and nasty this is. Not to mention the double standard right. These are not athletes. These are girls in the stands, right? But this is a sports media. Here's a man. This is a man who writes. Ostensibly, this person
do we have
has
to put man? Do we have to put man in quotes?
Well,
this is a guy. Can we send him some chalk? Because the T levels, I'm telling you, sub-medical grade. He needs help.
You're gonna hear this. Ostensibly, this is a man. Ralph Vacciano tweets. You just heard this clip. An unprofessional disgrace. From the reporter to the guys in the booth to the producer in the truck who could have stopped it at any point. It's not fun. It's not cool. It's not harmless. And it's only a standard for harassment. This is a guy who covers sports. Like I
feel my estrogen level rising just from listening to this. I cannot understand.
There were a bunch of these guys and these girls who lose their mind. I have been arguing, and frankly, I founded a company based on it. The disconnect between the average sports fan and the average sports media member is more substantial than the disconnect between media and any other group that consumes their content anywhere. And let me hit you with this, Buck, and this is my overall thesis. If you cover a game for a living, that is your job is to watch people play something. with very, very few exceptions, because there are some people who are like, hey, I'm a sports reporter, but I also cover trials. So there could be criminal cases. Or I'm a sports business reporter and I'm focused on the valuation of franchise, things like that. But if you cover the game itself, your job is to make someone like something that they already like it more. And if you don't do that, you're doing something wrong, because your job is to talk about a sport. Here's what I think is really happening. I think these people, everyone who criticized this Braves reporter, I think voted for Kamala Harris. Overwhelmingly, they hate fun. I also think so many people in sports media are insecure because they're grown-ups who cover a game. And instead of embracing the fun, they feel like they have to convince people that they're capable of sitting at the big kids table. And so they wildly overanalyze the significance of relatively fun, not very significant moments.
Clay, if a single guy can't take his shot and ask a pretty lady for her phone number, I don't even know what country we live in anymore. It's
Well,
definitely
this
not
is
America. I mean,
this is the entire basis for how every human gets together, right? Every baby on some level required, most of the time, sometimes girls get numbers, most of the time it's guys, requires a guy to ask a girl
well,
for her phone number, right? This
I
is the
also thought
foundation
this
of
is
all of our existences.
the funniest thing is you can always tell when people ask rhetorical questions and the rhetorical question is obviously wrong and stupid, meaning they think that it's like, oh, what would have happened if a woman had asked a guy if the roles reversed? I mean, the guy would be doing backflips. What are you talking about? An attractive female, if he's single, and if you're not, you
Yes.
just say I'm married, or you say I have a girlfriend. But if an attractive sideline reporter came up to Clay pre Laura or Buck pre Carrie and was like, "Hey, like, can I have your phone number?" I promise you, he wouldn't have been like, "I feel so harassed."
It would
This
be
is
the
insane.
greatest moment of every guy's life. Now, women don't think about this in the same way as men, because if you're an attractive woman, you are being pursued by men every moment of your life, right? I mean, this is the reality. You go to the grocery store, a good looking guy, I mean, you're a good looking girl, a guy might hit on you, right? Like you're at the gym, wherever you are, there are men who are pursuing you. This is how biology works by and large. You might not like the guys that are pursuing you, but the idea, Buck, to your point, if a pretty girl in the stands has a microphone and she's interviewing a guy, and somebody remarks, hey, chemistry looks pretty good here, you should ask him for his phone number, and he got the phone number, every guy in America would be like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened. And they're not going to rip the girl.
This is a hero moment. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Everybody would say it was really cool of the girl to take the to make the move, and the guy is the luckiest guy we've seen. How? But you sort of get into this. How are people supposed to meet people? Right? What is now the? Is it all just? It's only algorithms online where you're at arm's distance and you don't actually have to deal with the possibility of like rejecting somebody or actually talking to them. I mean, what? Clay, when you sent me I swear I kept reading through it, and it was just like my. Fortunately, I have a lot of hair, but I was pulling the hair out of my head. I could not
Outkick
understand.
is the only sports media site in the entire country that will say there's nothing wrong with this. This is good, lighthearted
I
fun.
mean, to me, this is almost like, at the end of a local newscast, they'll do like, like a local mallard in the park, lost one of her
Something
ducklings. And
happy
like,
to try to
then we,
send people off into
yes,
their day. Yes.
this is like a happy end of newscast kind of story. It's like, oh, and she found her baby duckling. Yay. See you tomorrow, everybody. This is like a nice, happy story. It's cute. Look, maybe she gave him a fake number. Look, maybe it doesn't matter. It's a nice little exchange. Obviously, people think this woman that he's asking, is an attractive young woman, and it's all. This is like it's like Shakespearean comedy. It's like this is the sort of thing that in Western civilization we'd all sit around and smile about and be like, oh, isn't that fun? And killjoy sports reporters think that it undermines the seriousness of women in the industry or something. Like, are they just
also
bitter because
making a
nobody watched the
ridiculous-
WNBA draft, Clay? Like, what is the problem here?
They're also making a ridiculous argument that this somehow equates to them dating a player or an athlete. This is not the same thing at all.
Nothing to do with that. Not even close. Yeah.
Remotely close. And also, it's just a desperate desire to make yourself a victim. Something nice happens on television. You know what? I already tweeted this, but this is not going to surprise you. I would, if I owned the Braves, I would totally steer into this controversy. I would have them go on a date at a game I would have a reporter assigned to
Absolutely.
cover the date during the course of the broadcast. You know this because you've done the show long enough for me. My response anytime somebody criticizes anything that I do is to do it even more aggressively. Like some people are like, "Oh, you know what? I'll take a step back." I'm like, "We're going to go faster, even faster into the controversy." And I would totally lean into this because I think what it does, and this was the basic foundation of Outkick, is I think that much of social media is BS. I think that a lot of what people say there is not representative of the real world. And if you allow yourself to be governed by what people say on social media, you end up making moronic decisions for your company, for your brand, for your personal life. Because in the analogy I've made for a long time, and I think I'm being proven more right every single day, is it would be like, Buck, back in the day. Remember those funny mirrors when you would go to a carnival, and some of them make you look super fat and some of them make you look super skinny. If you tried to adjust your diet based on a funhouse mirror, imagine how broken your overall life would be. I think that's the story of media. I think media used social media as a representative, honest reflection of the real world and tried to adjust their coverage as a result. And I think they lit themselves on fire. I think Trump saw it. Certainly, we saw it in sports with Outkick, and sanity's returning. But every time we have one of these blow ups, I look at the comments like you did, and I feel like I'm living in a different world than the reality of the day to day existence that I see.
It's still it's one of these things where I didn't think we would really talk about this because it would only be, there's some people who, they'll get mad at you if you're like, hey, you know what can relax you? Take a deep breath. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Big Deep
Or
Breath.
people
Ooh,
got mad at you when you were like, "Hey, you know what you should do more of? Walk." And people were
yes.
like, "Oh,
Oh,
such an elitist. Look at you able to
fancy radio
walk."
host because you're walking daily. I swear, I'm not kidding. There were a bunch of people that were attacking me like, sorry, some of us have jobs that don't, I'm like, don't allow you to find any time in the day to go for a walk anywhere. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry you work in like the Foxconn iPhone factory.
This is like me, and I've said this to my boys a lot. Like, hey, you can do push-ups anywhere. I understand everybody doesn't have a fancy gym membership, but you can do push-ups and sit-ups pretty much anywhere. I mean, people in jail cells get ripped because they just sit around and do push-ups and sit-ups all day. You can walk anywhere pretty much, unless you
But there are
happen to
people that
live in
want to be bitter
Antarctica.
about everything was my
Yeah,
point, and you'll find
totally.
that on the internet. They just want to be bitter, but people that make a living commenting on sports, instead of seeing this as a viral clip and something that could bring everyone together, Clay's point is, it's not that a lot of them were attacking this.
20, 30 people with substantial audiences like, this is unacceptable. How dare this be allowed to occur?
Ah.
It's real.
These people are so nuts. They're so
People are
crazy.
totally nuts. It is crazy. Anyway, if you're a single guy, go ask a pretty girl for her phone number, and hopefully you'll have kids one day, and that will be the foundation of your happily
Or
ever after.
if you're a nice young woman and you find a guy who's single and you think he's cute, ask him. I promise you, if he's
He's not
single and
going
he
to be
likes you,
offended. He's not going to be
he's
offended. Yeah.
not going to be offended. I promise you. He'll be like, how dare you? How dare you, madam?
One of the most intimidating things that any man ever has to do is ask a pretty girl for her phone number or her contact information, because it sets you up for rejection. As everybody who's ever been to prom, everybody who's ever been to a dance, men have to ask overwhelmingly. Yeah, if
Dude,
you're a pretty girl and you like a guy, go for it. But
I
let's
got
have
my
more gravy.
battleship. I got my battleship sunk plenty of times before I got married. And you know what? Builds character.
Does build character. You know what else builds character? Saving money on your cell phone bill, because you could have an extra $1,000. You can do whatever you want. Get hooked up right now with Pure Talk, and you can use your Pure Talk phone to get a pretty girl's phone number or get a good-looking guy's phone number. Boom. Next thing, happily ever after, all because you have the right Pure Talk phone. Right now, you can save a bundle and you can get a brand new phone, the Samsung Galaxy A26 for free. Phone's virtually indestructible Gorilla Glass, captures beautiful wide-angle photos, next-gen camera lenses. Sign up right now. Listen to this. You get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with a mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Here's how you do it. Dial pound 250, say the keywords Clay and Buck. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in as little as 10 minutes. That's pound 250, say Clay and Buck, for that brand new free phone and a business unbelievable great deal for you and your family that could save you up to $1,000. Maybe it'll send you off to happily ever after with the boy or girl that you end up with. Get hooked up right now. Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan from Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.